step into a dojo, you're stepping into kind of like a classroom setting, but it's physical. It's not sitting at a desk. It's mentally challenging, but you're using your body, your mind, you're developing your character. All these things are challenged when you're training.
Coming to the rink for me is just exciting. I love being able to come in here again and to be able to get out on the ice, blades on the ice, pucks ringing off the glass, the hockey equipment smell, which isn't necessarily pleasant all the time. It's always a thrill for me to be able to get out there and to play.
You get there, you smell the fresh mountain air, you can feel the cold of the glacial water just standing at this river shore. Like you can feel the cold air coming off of it. It's like nothing. It's like nowhere I've ever been before in my life. It's home. It's more home there than anywhere else.
You have really nice big exposure to the sun, and it's so bright out and warm all the time. And you don't have to hike a million hours to get there. It's really beautiful here.
No, you don't understand.
And you get there and it's like, oh. You can drop all your gear and relax and go run and look at all the climbs, and it's really exciting, especially when you're coming into a new place.
The sacred space of triathlon is kind of unique. It's almost the environment of moving from one to another, quickly adapting to getting the feel of the water, getting the feel of the bike so it feels like an extension of you, getting the feel of running when you come off the bike. When you do something every day, and it's all you do in your sport, you develop this kind of, really close friendship with that one environment, that one sacred space.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Go.
Good.
Nice, Amy. Come on, come on.
There we go.
That was a good noise.
I'm Amy Sutley, and I'm a rock climber. The main form that I'm on the national team for is lead climbing. So that's climbing with ropes. So that's not bouldering, which we're going to be doing today. Bouldering is climbing without ropes, and it allows you to focus on the hardest moves, and you don't have to be focusing on your gear and your belayer and all that kind of stuff. I think everyone deals with failure in different ways.
You okay? Are you good? Did you hit your back? Do you want to try again? Are you okay?
Personally, my reaction doesn't last very long. I usually get frustrated for a couple minutes, and then I think, okay, well, that was just one climb.
Sorry. It's just so hard.
I think the best way to deal with it is just to move on, because if you dwell on your mistakes, it's easy to let that frustration carry on into your next climb.
Every single time I experience something which I consider a failure, I didn't ride as fast as I should have today, or I didn't do the right workout, or in a competition, I didn't balance, pace myself properly. My self-talk tells me something about myself, which if I don't pay attention to it, I will not be able to learn from.
What do you normally do? You go to...
Well, we were trying to go to that side pocket there, or not like side
Oh,
hole,
yeah.
but I can't. So we'll see, maybe I can match or something.
Yeah, see if you can match that. Just like, oh, what about the side pole, like right there? There you go, nice.
Thank you.
name is Stephen Robinson. I'm a triathlete. I love the sport of triathlon. Well, I worked for the city of Calgary for 28 years. I was a building inspector for most of that. Started out as a carpenter, but I've been retired for the last 2 years. I'm a deacon in the Roman Catholic Church, so I do a lot of work in the church. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Riding, being out in this place. Fall colors are starting to look awesome. A triathlete is trying to battle all the time focus. Focus comes into play at every aspect of a triathlon. Always thinking ahead. What am I going to have to do when I'm in transition? How am I going to most smoothly change from one sport to the other? In cycling races, accidents happen not on the tricky parts, not on the corners, although they can. They happen when people are in long stretches where there's a pack and there is nothing happening, and you have to remain focused even though there's nothing going on. What I notice about people who are training, they're exercising their body and not realizing that more important than exercising their body at that point is exercising the mind to focus on what they're doing. In training, there should never be a moment where a person is not mentally focusing. Physically, there may be periods where you relax, you ease up to give your body a break so that it's ready for the next effort. Mentally, though, that there should never be a moment where one is not focusing, because this is the key thing that we train in our bodies, in ourselves as athletes.
So one of the hardest things to manage with climbing is your mental aspect. So keeping yourself calm and not psyching yourself out on every climb is a really difficult thing to do. You need to be totally confident and commit to every single move, especially in competition climbing, because if you hesitate, you're done, you're gonna fall.
The key to focusing is allowing ourselves to experience more fully the present environment that we are in. Our body, the equipment that we're using, and the environment that is around us.
A little too much.
Hi, I'm Paul Swatcha, and we're going to be talking about karate today.
I'm Chris Hsiung.
I will also
Just say your name, okay?
Sorry. All right, let's go again. Hi, I'm Paul Swatcha.
And I'm Chris Hsiung. So I practice Rinpoche. It's a Japanese style of karate. Descends from Shotokan karate, which is quite popular.
For me, the journey started in karate when I was 11, so it's been about 21 years now. And I've always liked it. I've always found it challenging, found it rewarding, found it difficult. I've found it to help me in everyday life, and I feel it's very fulfilling.
In the past, as a younger athlete, I would have said, well, this is something, no pain, no gain. You just got to work through that. Now I understand that my body is a living mechanism and it needs me to pay attention to it. So some days I might need to just change what I had written down, what I was going to do.
You can practice all you want, but practice never makes perfect. Practice only makes permanent. So if you're practicing something incorrectly, you're only going to get better at doing it continuously incorrectly, if that makes sense. If I'm sparring with people who are higher than me, like much higher, I'm going to have a difficult time. It's going to be challenging, and I'm probably going to be losing more times than winning. But on the other hand, I will be making progress. It won't be noticeable progress. It won't feel like progress because I'll be losing, I'll be get dominated, I will get hit here and there, but overall, the process of improvement will be occurring. I just may not feel it.
Losing is a vehicle for education in martial arts. Because you lost because somebody is able to see one of those errors or problems that you may or may not know you're doing, right? So it actually gives you an avenue for critique and improvement.
winning is awesome too. Like, I love winning. Everybody likes winning. Winning is one of the best things. You know, it validates what you've been doing. It kind of puts in perspective all the things you did well, all the things you did right. But you have to keep it in balance. You don't want the winning attitude to take over you and you know, get out of control. You know, winning is important, but it's not everything.
I think one of the biggest things I've done to keep improving my climbing is by climbing in many different areas. Because it's really easy to develop if you've climbed in many different situations, different angles, different holds, different rock texture. That way when you encounter an unknown situation, you've kind of already been in that situation and you know what to do.
Look, listen, realize, evaluate, and then reevaluate. And that's at every level. If you want to improve something, whether you know it's writing a poem or singing a song or whatever it is you do, it's always a process of continuous improvement. And once you think you have it, you actually don't. You have to realize that it's never going to be perfect, but it can always be better.
My name's Adrian Cole, and my sport of choice is whitewater kayak slalom. Basically, kayak slalom, you have like a course set out in front of you. There's red gates and green gates. There's generally anywhere from 18 to 22 gates, and you got to get through them as fast as you possibly can. When I'm in my boat, I feel so calm. I'm so comfortable with whitewater and rivers that it's a happy place. It's a really calm place. People look at kayaking and sure, you need to be fit, you need to be strong, but a lot of it is all mental. You don't get to practice the courses before you do a race. All you get to do is look at it and then perform to the best of your abilities.
My name's Chris Hsiung and I play sledge hockey. I chose this sport because I played stand-up hockey for a living before I had my accident, so it just sort of seemed like a good crossover for me, I guess, since it is very similar to stand-up hockey. It gave me everything that I needed back that I was sort of missing from playing. It's a very tough game mentally because it's a very team-oriented sport. It's not like stand-up hockey where you're able to beat people one-on-one. You have to do a lot of passing. Practice is eliminating errors out on the ice. I mean, you want to practice things that you might have made mistakes in. I'm human. I'm always making mistakes out there, so it's going out there and just you need to be able to recognize your mistakes, and I mean that's what you're building on.
So much fail.
You're always going to have some errors in a game, and I mean those are the things that when it comes practice time that you want to concentrate on. You don't want to dwell on them in practice. You want to be able to turn around and turn them into that positive that you need while you're out on the ice.
When you're just practicing anything, like whether it be studying for school or practicing piano or guitar or practicing a sport, shooting baskets, it's always about a positive mindset, you know? You don't always need somebody there guiding you how to do it. It's all about being there and enjoying what you're doing. Like, it's not about, I want to get better at this. It's like, I love doing this and this is what I love to do.
Enjoyment doesn't exist outside of discipline. Enjoyment is one of the benefits, one of the consequences of being disciplined. If we had to think about breathing all the time, it would be hard to enjoy the experience of just life and being in a beautiful place, because we'd be always thinking about breathing.
I mean, you have to be able to do it mentally, I mean, is one of the main things. You know, having the willpower and having the drive to go out there and playing at the top of your game, and having the will to go and train and the determination to do that.
It's easy to pitch when you're a pitcher and everything's going well for you. The difference is the pitcher who's a great pitcher but is having a terrible day, but still looks like he's pitching a great game. That's the same in karate. You know, many times I come to the dojo and I feel, I kind of not feeling it today, but I still am able to have a productive class, still able to get a lot of improvement, a lot of positive things out of it, just because perseverance.
The mistake I see most athletes making that I watch is that they think of discipline as doing a repeated action so that they become better at it. It sounds like a good principle, but the key thing with discipline is about the mind. It's our minds which direct our bodies to do those actions over and over again. Discipline is how we train ourselves to focus. It's the methods we use to train ourselves to focus, and it's also the way we understand what it means to focus.
One specific exercise we do is visualization. So before every climb, you imagine yourself climbing in first person. You don't see it from afar. You see your arms and your feet moving, and you imagine yourself climbing well and smooth and climbing all the way to the top. And sometimes even far before a competition, we'll do it where you imagine yourself falling really low and how you would deal with that. That way, if it does happen, you were prepared.
We are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit.
One of the ways to remove ignorance from karate is to have a good sensei who's essentially got a wealth of experience of, I guess, dispelling his own ignorance, somebody who has done the karate journey for a long time and has worked through the pitfalls of training too.
So this hand should be shoulder height. This right here. Eyes, this way. Right.
My coach pushes us. Like sometimes he comes to the gym and he'll watch us and say, "You do more weight, do more weight, do more weight, do more weight, more reps, more weight." Or on the water, like just really, he doesn't so much as tell us what to do, but he's giving us advice. Like he's saying, you can try this or try this. Like paddle harder here, slow it down here. Re-accelerate there.
Someone who is tried, tested, and true, someone who has an integrity to themselves, someone who truly cares about developing you, not just as a martial artist or as someone to attract trophies to the school or what have you, but truly they want to make you a better person overall. They want to make you a better student in school, they want to make you a better worker, in your personal life, they want to make you a better husband, a better brother or sister, they want to make you a better person overall.
To me, he's been a psychologist, a nutritionist, just an amazing person who's always made sure that I'm always ready to perform at my best no matter what.
But more than anything, it's a balance of your mind, your heart, and physically, what can you do? Because eventually, physically, you won't be able to perform as well as you could at a younger age. So that's where intelligence takes over, you become more efficient. And the heart is really just being able to do it time in and time out, being persistent, constantly being hungry, constantly staying young, and being just eager to constantly learn something new.
It's a real shame when we don't get to transfer what we experience in one part of our life to what we experience in another part of our lives. It goes both ways, sport to life, life to sport.
I think it's given me a better quality of life. It's allowed me to push the boundaries of what I think I can do, and it's given me a lot of confidence to push my boundaries because I have already overcome obstacles in the past, and so I know I can keep pushing what I think is my limit.
Well, what I take out of my karate and kind of incorporate in my everyday life is one, things will not always go the way you want. You are going to lose many more fights than you will win over the course of your entire, I guess, journey as a martial artist.
Like, you can work all year and you can end up not quite being there, but you know, that's just part of growing up. Like, that's just with anything. Like, you're never always going to get rewarded for all the hard work you do, but it's all about the lesson that you take from that hard work, I find.
I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned from climbing is that the will to work hard can overcome anything.
The teamwork aspect is a huge thing, and I mean, you can cross that across to jobs, you know, to essentially anything. And then there's just, you know, the personal drive that you need in sport to be able to succeed.
All the discipline, all the benefits, physical, mental, you know, spiritual. It's something that goes beyond just sport. To me, it's a science, it's an art, it's a discipline. It really does transcend just a physical competition, winning and losing. I'm going to be hopefully doing this until I'm 70, however years old. I'm going to be doing it until the day I die.
The fact that sport is not life is important. I think, again, as a younger athlete, a big mistake that I made was to confuse the two. And that if I wanted to be really successful as a runner, I had to focus on that to the exclusion of other things. And so it, in a way, took over my life. And so when I became injured, when I suffered a setback or didn't perform like I thought I should be, it meant my life was a failure, not just that aspect of my life. Now I understand that I can live a whole life and actually even be more successful than I was. I think that we are intended to experience not just enjoyment, but joy, a deep and profound joy that is intended to connect with the joy of being alive, of being who we are, of being human.
I think climbing really allows me to invest a lot of emotion into a project, and it allows me to focus on this project and work hard for this project, and it gives me a lot of satisfaction at the end when I get this project.
One of my teammates, she grabbed me and hugged me and was like almost crying, I think. My mom was crying and my coach was super ecstatic, and everybody was just so happy.
You feel like you've grown, like you've discovered something about yourself or rediscovered.
I take away the feeling that I know that I've absolutely done my best at it, and it's something that I can be proud of.
It was like just the best feeling in the world to really feel that accomplishment, saying, you know, I worked for this, I worked for this, I worked for this, and I got it.
It's the best feeling. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.